start this again. Cut. Okay. Alright, here we go. Hello YouTubers, it's Selling Guy 60. Here it is April 25th. Just finished selling the third lawnmower that Jacob and DJ helped me work on last year. And then I sent them some money via Rick's bank. Sent them some credit so they get what they want and I'll pay for it, for their help. I still have the one left here, and it's the Lawn Boy, and it's been giving me some problems, and I'll show it to you. Show you what problems I've had with it. First problem I had is with the carburetor. Oop, hang on. Man, I tell you, get my thumbs back for this year. Get your thumb off there. The carburetor, let's get over here. The carburetor, it would start up and then it wouldn't run unless I kept pushing the primer to keep it running. So I took the carburetor off and blew it all out. It seems to be running okay. Well, then I ran into another problem. You can see that there's oil. So there's oil down on the deck here. See that right there? Well, what it is, and I've got down here to see. I'm trying to see if you can see what I'm seeing here. I got my pen out. Alright, where are we? There we are, right there. Right here. Right there. Between this base, which screws down here, bolts down to the deck. This base, between the base and here, there's a gasket. There's a stupid wire in the way here. Okay, so get a better angle at that. Right here, there's a gasket, and that gasket is leaking. So, the big deal for me today is to take this thing out and cut with it. Take it out and cut it. I noticed it had a little bit of a mist to it. Now I don't know if that's a valve popping, not popping, but it's just got a little bit of a mist to it. So that might be a little piece of junk in the valve seat. And when I start it up, the pull cord doesn't go all the way in; it slacks a little bit. But if this thing runs right, I'm going to take it out and cut the backyard with it. Well, like I said, last year I cut it. It was fine. I ran it out of gas. Everything worked fine. So I guess it's a good thing that I didn't sell this to somebody last year, and then they would have started up this year and ended up having that leak. I wouldn't have been happy with that. I don't sell people lawnmowers so that they can, you know, not that I can foresee the future of what the lawnmower is. I just would feel bad if I sold somebody something they would end up having to tear it down, and you have to pull the complete engine off this, and I'll show you how to do that if after I cut the grass I feel that this lawnmower is worth working on. Now this one last year, if you remember correctly, this is the one I got for free from the guy down the street, and it sat behind his house for I think like 4 years, outside in the rain, snow, so it was pretty rough. You can go back through some of my lawnmower videos, you'll see this one when I first got it. It was pretty bad. But again, if you start putting parts, I mean, I had to put a carburetor on this because the older carburetor was so full of old gas, I couldn't get it cleared out. It wouldn't run right. So I bought another carburetor. I bought an air filter for it and put a spark plug in it. Changed the oil, of course. Sharpened the blade. But sometimes if you put too much time into these things, you're not going to get it out. I mean, I don't want to scrap this thing. I think it's still good, but I'm going to have to see if I just need to order a gasket for the base gasket, so I'll just take that off, or should I order a head gasket also and take the head off it, pop the valves out, and clean those while I've got it apart. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to start this up, go cut the back grass, and then I'll come back in here and we'll make a decision. And Plus I have to go see what the parts are going to cost too. Alright, so I'll be back. Okay, well, I don't know. It seemed to run okay, but it kind of bogs down a little bit. I've got the RPM set on the carburetor. I don't have an RPM gauge. I had one time. I tried it. It was like an infrared thermometer type thing. It didn't work with it. And if you really want to get one, you have to spend probably about $130 to $150 for a good one. And I just set them by ear. It's $150 I don't have to spend. This one seems like it bogs. The RPM is set correctly. I actually turned it up just a little bit. And last night it rained, so the grass could be a little wet. It's, I don't know, what time is it, about 4? Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we had some good wind, should have dried the grass. It wasn't that thick. But I think I'm going to let this cool down for a little bit. Look up some of the numbers for parts for this. And then run a compression check on it. I'll set the camera up that and we'll see how that turns out. But I'm going to let this thing cool down for about an hour or so. And I'll try it and see how that comes out. So I'll get back with you. You see the little bit more of an oil stain. Of course, when this thing is running, it's cranking up the pressure inside the crankcase. You can see, got a little bit more oil there. Pushed out some more oil. You see the line where the oil's coming from. And that line goes all the way up right to that seam between the lower case and the engine block of the lawnmower. Plus on this I have to look and see the I had to steal this off my Toro, which I already started up this year. Started in 2 poles. Hang on there. Put this back on my Toro. I cut my backyard, so I'm going to cut my front yard with this. It's all started in a couple poles. This is brand new. I bought this brand new in 2013. I've never had the fuel bowl off this. I've never had to replace anything in this. I just sharpen the blades, change the oil, change the spark plug, change the air filter. That's all I've ever done to this thing. So now that I said that, something's probably going to break this year. So we're going to let this one cool off. We'll run a compression check on it, and I'll get some numbers together and see what this might cost us to get this thing all up and running. Alright, Selling Guy 60. See you in a bit. Alright, bye. Alright, we're back. It's a few hours later. It's last time we were at 4 o'clock, 7:30. Should be cooled off by now. So I'm going to give this thing some pulls and we'll see what kind of compression we get. About 4 pulls here. One more for good luck. Oh, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I know we had better compression last year, I think. We're at about 70. Here, wait a minute. We're at 80, I'm sorry. About 79, 80 PSI. That's not, I mean, it's kind of good. You want to be 90 or more. Oh boy, I don't know. Let's look what we have for our stuff here. Well, I looked at the side discharge chute. I had to take off my my Toro, put on there, so that's going to have to be $14 for that. I already have the carb and the filter, so we're at $20 I have into this so far. The gasket set was kind of strange. For the crankcase gasket was $9. This is on Amazon. And the head gasket was $8. But I can get a gasket set that has both these and some other gaskets for 11. I'm gonna have to think about this one. That turned back around here. Yeah. You know, I'm probably looking at making about, asking about, you know, 60, 70 bucks for this thing, and I'm gonna have, I've already got $20 into it. And then if the gasket's set, I'll have $31 into it, and then another $14 for the chute. That's $45 into it. So I have like $45 into it, trying to make 60 out of it. If everything, you know, works out well. And like I said, all I got is $20 into it so far. And the parts I can use the parts on another Tecumseh. I'm sure I'm going to run into some other Tecumseh here. So I'm going to have to kind of sit on that, because, you know, sometimes these lawnmowers we get them for free, and, you know, they're worth the parts. Bad thing about this Tecumseh was the carburetor was so gummed up. I cleaned out the gas tank. Gas tank was pretty filthy. I think that there might have been something still in the gas tank, even though I cleaned it out really good last year, that got into the carb, and that's probably why I had to take the carb off this year and blow it out again. There's probably some junk got in the idle circuit. I'm going to have to think about that one and let you know tomorrow. You know, pretty good luck. We sold all the other 3 lawnmowers, and got some money to the grandkids for their work on that, which they're spending as we speak. And, you know, I can say it's not all about the time, but, you know, it depends. I don't mind putting in the time, and it's what I like to do. I like to work on these things, but, you know, it's profit to be there too. So I'm gonna have to think about this one. I'm not sure if it's worth the time or not. So let me crunch some numbers, and like I said, being 45 into it already, that's almost 50 bucks, and $15 maybe profit. I don't know. I don't know. All right, I'll think about it tonight, and I'll let you know tomorrow. And a different colored shirt. All right, bye. It's Selling Guy 60. It's Lawnmower Sunday. Everybody's out cutting grass, and I cut some grass, and it's grass cutting day. So we got 3 lawnmowers now in the garage. We have the green machine, which I'm just going to get rid of. Late last night, I had a thought, came down, looked at the spark plug, and that spark plug has black soot on it. Let's see if we can get that to focus. It's got black soot on it. This thing's only been running for about an hour, and it's got black soot all over it, so this thing's got bad rings. So I'll save the carburetor and the air filter, and I can clean that spark plug off and save what I want for parts. You know, I don't mind Tecumsehs. I've had them. They're a little bit more pain, but they're so cold-blooded. This thing, usually when Tecumsehs warm up, they cut better. This one didn't cut any better. It actually bogged down and cut worse. So, and then my Toro, I spoke too soon. I started that up yesterday. I went to take off, start cutting, and the thing would hardly even, front wheels wouldn't even pull. I would pull this deal up here, pull the drive up, and the thing would just kind of sit there and move just a little bit. So I got underneath here. Of course, there's grass under here, and we'll see what grass does. You don't want the grass under here. Back this thing up here. Get back. You don't want grass underneath here. What happens is the belts get stretched out. It's like $14 for a belt, but I fixed it. There's a hole, as you can see right there. That's what this hook was in. So I measured up 3/4 of an inch, drilled another hole, put the hook in that, and now it drives just fine. See, I drilled a hole and saved $14. So if I ever break the belt on this, I'll have to move it back to the original hole, because then the belt will be way too tight. And there's a reason why you take that stuff out. I cleaned it out last year. I take it out every year, and this is the one reason. I was out walking Gus, and somebody had pushed this out to the curb late last year, and I just kind of rolled it in the back of the house, and then I put a piece of plastic over it and looked at it this year. But got the cover off. Look at this thing. It's all, there's a big hole right there. Woo! It's all rusted underneath there. This poor thing, I think it's a 12, so, you know, it's 8 years old. Probably left it sit outside. You can tell the mowers probably is kind of rusty. And so I shot some starting fluid into it and gave it a couple pulls, and she fired right up. So I'm thinking, okay, this is good. So I'll probably put this back in the garage, in my little shed out back, since I have some room. And we'll see if I find something later on this year for that. You know, my one little Frankenstein motor I had yesterday, or last year, I put two of them together to make that one, and that's all sold. So just trying to finish off the day. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good week. Be careful out there. Be nice. And don't, I go on YouTube, I go buy all the political stuff, and I look at the dogs and the cats and people building stuff, and I don't even listen to that stuff anymore. I had it up to here. I'm done. Stick me with a fork. I'll worry about whatever I'm going to do in November. Alright, see you later. Bye.